um, Jayadama Dava Yasodhanandana Rajana Ranjana Namakera Yari Namakera Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahimsa, Parivraj Acharya, bestowed to the thought system and the divine graces, compound Acharya. Srila Abhijana Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Papa Maharaj, Jai Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahimsa, Parivraj Acharya, bestowed to the thought system and the divine grace, the Bhakti Vedanta Swami Papa Goswami Papa Maharaj, Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vinda Jai Amacharya Srila Haridasa Gaura Jai and speak the house, the Krishna Chaitanya, Nanda, Devata, Maharaj, Gaura, Jai. Sisi Radha Krishna Gopal, Gopinath, Samakunda, Radha Kunda, Giri Madam, K Jai, Subindam, Dam, K Jai, Patumadam, K Jai. Simayapanavati Dam, K Jai, Sitagamapuri Dam, Kangamari, Amamari, K Jai, Simati Chota, Devi Bhaksha, Devi Jai, Sama Devi, Bhakta Devi, K Jai. Hi, go. Our glory is to the sum of the voices. Our glory is to the sum of the voices. The glory is to the sum of the voices. Our glory is all glory is the glory of the Guru. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasa Chatur Jaya Mukti Rai Asma Payasva Vishnu Nityam Bhagavata Seva Bhagavati Uttam Snokhe Bhakti Bhagavatam Hermitage 9. Seek the help of Mukunda Prabhu to recite the Sanskrit, the text. Yeah, go ahead. Someone has tried? Anyone? Okay, so word for word translation means synonyms. Yari, whenever. Abuja, action, lotus word. Apasa, Sara, you go away. Bo, oh, Baba, yourself. Who, the descendants of King Kuru. Madhu, inhabitants of Mathura, Raja Bhumi. Va, Eda, Atta, therefore, Suridikshaya, for meeting them, Tara, at that time, at Dakoti, millions of years, Pati Maha, Maya, Shanaha, moments, Pavet becomes, Ravim, the sun, Bina, the child, Ashno of the eyes, Giva, like that, Naha, hours, Kawa, you are, Chita, or infallible one. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace is found, right? The AC back to the dance Swami Prabhupada page. Prabhupada page. O Lotus Eye Lord, whenever you go away to Ventura Vrindavan or Hastinapur, to meet your friends, relatives. Every moment of the absence seems like millions or infallible one. That time our eyes become useless, as if bereft of sun. This kind of response will repeat. Lotus eye Lord. Whenever you go away to Mathura Vrindavan or Hastinapur to meet your friends and relatives, every moment of your absence seems like millions of years. For infallible one, that time our eyes become useless. See great of sun. But we are proud of our material senses for making experiments coming to existence of God. But forget that our senses are not absolute by themselves. They can only act under certain conditions. For example, our eyes, as long as the sunshine is there, our eyes are useful to a certain extent. But in the absence of sunshine, the eyes are useless. Lord Sri Krishna, being the preeminent Lord, the supreme truth, is compared to the sun. Without him, all our knowledge is either false or partial. The opposite of the sun is darkness. And similarly, the opposite of Krishna is Maya, or illusion. The devotees of the Lord can see everything in true perspective due to the light disseminated by Lord Krishna. By the grace of the Lord, the pure devotee cannot be in the darkness of ignorance. Therefore, it is necessary that we must always be in the sight of Lord Krishna, so that we can see both ourselves and the Lord with his different energy. As we cannot see anything in the absence of the sun, so also we cannot see anything, including our own self, without the factual presence of the Lord. Without him, all our knowledge is covered by illusion. Bhagwatam, Tasmat, Te Guruve, Chichitaya Manobisam, Safitan, Tali, Swayam Rupa Kadavayam, Atiswam, Dantakam, Vancha Kalpatari Necha. And Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityanand, Sabod, Sudhaya Puskapanto, Chitatamata. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Chi Veta Gata, Sri Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Sri Mati Bhakti Danta Swami Namaste Saraswati Gaurav Nirvises Sanyavadi. So, happy to catch up with all of you this afternoon. So, this text basically highlights the fact that our senses are basically meaningless, useless. They are invalid, especially for the eyes. Papa gives an example of the eye. The eye is only useful to us in the daytime. Why? Because that's sunshine. In the night, in the darkness. In the night also there's some artificial light. Electricity provides some artificial light. So we can see. But without the artificial light or without the sunshine, we cannot see. Although the eyes are there for sight. And therefore, we cannot really say that our sensory modalities are perfect. This is just a proof. We can't say that our sensory modalities are perfect. We can't say that. Uh, my mind tells me that. See, the situation that we find ourselves in the material world and in material bodies is so horrible. And we're very proud of our material bodies. We're very proud of our senses. We hear people say, as far as I'm concerned, we are so much circumscribed by the illusory energy, by the material energy, that although we have the sensing modalities, uh, we are inhibited from using them. Only at particular times can we use the eyes. Can you imagine? Only at a particular time we can use the sense of sight. When there is, if the sun is not there, oh, yeah, the eyes are useless. So, Lord Krishna is considered to be the sun. Maya is darkness. Now, in the absence of the sun, what we have is darkness, isn't it? So, in a similar way, as soon as as soon as we try to forget Krishna, Maya hits us down. As soon as we see Maya is just watching us, I mean, it's like as the little, it's like someone who is driving, okay, and then he's on the highway, and the vehicles are passing this way, like 3 or 4 lane drive. Vehicles are passing this way, some are passing here, and then he receives a call on his phone, and he picks the call. He picks the phone. He goes here to pick the phone. That is called inattention to the driver. That inattention can cause his life. And we've seen it. I remember one time when I was still preaching in Africa, we we're crossing the border to another country for preaching. And then, the place was very congested, and then the driver was going also at a very excessive speed. And then someone says, Adibo, Adibo! So the driver was excited, so he turned to see that person because, and immediately, boom, hit somebody in the front. Just 1 second of inattention. So our senses are there, but if we are not, the senses are not guided by Lord Krishna, who is the master of the senses. Rishikesh is saying Bhakti devotion. Bhakti devotion means engaging the senses in the service of the master of the senses. It's a very simple formula. Okay? it's so it's so I mean it's like we have our limbs, we have the hand, we have the mouth, we have the legs. All of these limbs they work to feed the stomach. But in the hands they say, well, why should I give the food to the mouth? For what? I work so hard. If the hand becomes resistant to the cooperation, the whole body suffers. So one inattention can cause devastation to the whole embodied being. I mean, just like even for these highly realized souls, one of the senses could take them away from the path of perfection. I mean, just like you have a horse. and it don't, get them, get the horse together properly, it could cause trouble to yourself. It's very enjoyable. It's very pleasurable to ride a horse. Okay. So the point is that if the senses are engaged in the service of the master of the senses become purified, and the imperfection of the senses could be rectified. I repeat, if the senses are engaged in the service of the master of the senses, Rishikesh, Lord Rishikesh, Lord Krishna is also called Rishikesh, means the master of the senses. If the senses are engaged in the service of the master of the senses become purified, and the senses can be more useful to the body and to the community. Because then, when the senses become purified, they go beyond the limitations of imperfection. Otherwise, look, if you go out, you look at the sun, and it looks like a small, like a football, right? Looks like a small football. But you know, how big the sun is. It's bigger than this planet. And I'm up there. Our eyes perceive. This is my okay. Look. The whole thing about perception is so imperfect. And yet we use the culture of perfection in cultivating knowledge and conducting research, and we draw conclusions. We draw conclusions based on people's perception, imperfect perceptions. Because why is it imperfect perception? It's because of the imperfect senses. So by default, we should actually take knowledge from a perfect source. Because all of the experiments that we conduct, we say we'll conduct some research here and there, and this quantitative or qualitative or hemolytic or whatever. They're coming from imperfect sources. Knowledge coming from imperfect sources, but that is how the material world operates. But the devotee should know this better so that, we don't become too proud about our achievements. You're out there, yeah. You're a PhD. Oh, sir. People respect you like anything. I remember the first time when I was going to America, I was born in Nigeria. So I was carrying a Nigerian passport. And my Nigerians are known all over the world as scammers. As scammers, people who cheat, scam. So if you go to Heathrow Airport, they put you on one side. They have a special check on you. If you come to New York Airport, they put you on one side. They have a special check-in for you. That's how they destroy the image, public image of the country. And it's just some few people who do that. Nigeria, if you go to the Vatican City, the topmost, leaders are Nigerians. But just few people. I mean, it's like one finger is dipped in gasoline. It can spoil the sweet rice, right? Or one drop of gasoline into the sweet rice, it it destroys the sweet rice completely. So anyway, I'm talking about people who acquire high skills, high profile skills, and they are respected. But the skills are acquired through the imperfect senses. We worship here in the material world. We worship those with imperfect senses. Krishna is, is not to be worshipped. We don't want to worship Krishna because his senses are perfect. Even If you have imperfect senses, yes, you're the worshipful deity. So yeah, I flew into New York, and then that time I was very skinny. And because I was younger and very skinny, at that time I was eating all at once as a young brahmachari. So, so I went through the check-in, and then this immigration officer, he saw me. He said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to the conference." To the conference. He looked at me. I don't look like somebody who is. I don't look like a professor. I just look a young man. I'm skinny. So he was very skeptical. Tall, huge guy, and I look skinny too. So he said, "You're going to the conference? Where's your invitation? Where's the invitation letter?" So I brought out the invitation letter from my bag, from the president of the Georgia Political Science Association. So he was shocked. He looked at me. He looked at me. And then he asked me, "Are you the person?" I said, I was angry. I retorted. I said, "My invitation should tell you who I am." And you know what? This is the point I was making. You know what? From there, after seeing the letter, from there, you know what? He started, if he wants to ask me a question, if he was very calm, and he will tell the word start. The world is so bad. We have imperfect senses, and you acquire these skills with imperfect senses, you are worship. The person who has pure senses, Pavitra, not Krishna is Pavitra, is all pure. No, he's not to be worshipped. No, he's not to be worshipped. So this is the irony of the material world. And this is the cause of our suffering. This is our deficiency in information, in information acquisition culture. This is our deficiency. We take, we acquire information from the imperfect source, and the perfect source we neglect. And so, as devotees, when you have a balanced life, you have this knowledge, and you have also your professional acquisition, professional development. And so you become like a balanced person. If someone is talking, if he's talking from his imperfect senses, you know, but you don't harass them. So, yeah, see, that's a good reason why devotees should, you know, read the scriptures very broadly, very deeply, because there are so many things you can learn. And therefore, it is important for us to understand that the Bhagavatas, they are special for special. Imagine someone encountering Lord Krishna, is seeing him face to face, and is raining, eulogizing him, praising him. It is those are ordinary people. They are appreciative of their great fortune. And sometimes God has given us so much facilities. We don't see the facilities. We only see those things that we don't have. And I say, why don't you give me this? Why don't you provide this? So the dragon verses, they were appreciative thinkers. If you Google appreciative thinking, that is one of the gaps in modern civilization. People are not appreciative. Because even ordinarily speaking, if you appreciate what your father has given to you appreciate what your mother has given to you, just by saying thank you, mom, or thank you, dad, or thank you, bros, they will do more. Oh, yeah. And even beyond appreciative thinking is when we go out of our comfort zone to help people. So I'll give you an example. Now there was an alligator. This is not Puranic story. In Florida, just recently, in Florida, there was an alligator. Someone shot an alligator in the head. Big alligator. Those they kill people. You go to the beach, and some of the beaches, some of the waterways, they have alligators, especially in America. And these are big, big, aquatic animals. So someone shot an alligator in the head, and he was this alligator was in terrible pain. Then somebody risked his life and nursed the alligator. He, he nursed him to health. He brought him to a waterway in his compound, like an artificial lake, nursed that alligator until he got healed of the wound. So when he got healed of the wound, the guy decided he has to take him back to his natural habitat. So he took him back to his natural habitat. You see, the alligator refused to go. He refused completely. So the man couldn't do anything else. He has to take him back. And he lived with this man for 22, I don't remember the exact figure, but over 22 years. And so I saw the video. So what I learned from it is that we should really exhibit compassion and care for people who are in pain. And I remember in my own life, uh, there was one professor. That time again, that time I was in Africa. I was one professor. I was trying to cultivate him because he was interested in my publications. So he had a problem with the lady that he was going to get married to. Lady was living, and he invited me to come. That was saying that I was at that time I was in a very far distant place, like 8 hours drive. But he said I should come to meet him in his office. So I took a night bus. I went there. Even to go there, I borrowed money from people. So when I went there, I helped a lot in resolving the problem. Because I don't know what I told that story here. But then when I went to his office, there are a number of these final year students. He teaches philosophy. Number of these final year students in his office, boys and girls, his friends. Because he has this problem, he was depressed. So his friends understood and they were coming to support him. So I went there and I spoke with him. And one of the things that I mentioned to him was, see, you are just being depressed for nothing. I said, see, you're a professor. You're a young doctor. You want a wife, a lawyer, a wife who is a lawyer and of that age. All right, put an advertisement in your newspapers. I'm just professor. I need a lawyer of this age, of this type of beauty. And you can't imagine how many applications you will receive. So that's like a joke. It turned his life completely 360 degrees round. The whole depressive feelings vanished. So his students were shocked. He went to class. He had a lecture. So he went to class and I was sitting there with all of these students, his friends. And they pounced on me. They were just shocked that this skinny guy, he came and convinced our professor. The guy completely changed. He became he changed his mood. So they pounced on me. They asked me a question. For in fact, one of them became a devotee. One of them used to come to the temple. Even when I relook, I immigrated to America, we used to be in touch. When she got married, she had a baby. The girl is now even like 15 years or so. We used to be in touch. It's from that incident. And that guy, he will, right from that time, become like someone who needs to be consulted for all of his major decisions. He loved me more than his family members. Why? Because I saved him when he was in trouble. It's the same thing with this alligator. Someone saved him, and he became so much attached to the person. He didn't want to go back to his natural habitat. So the devotee has that potential to be able to help our people. And the highest help is to let people understand how imperfect our senses are, how fallible we are, and we can't really depend on our senses, except that we need to consult with the scriptures. We need to consult with Guru, Sadhu, and Sastra before we make final decision. Otherwise, we will always be wrong. And the beauty of it all is that these special devotees, they had this opportunity to be able to have the vision of the Lord, have to greet the Lord when he was coming from, say, from overseas tour. The Krishna was coming from Mathura. And sometimes Krishna travels to Hastinapur, travels to Mathura. And when he's coming back, it's a jubilation. It's a festival. They will all come to the presence and greet him, to receive him. They give him grand reception, they say, right? Grand reception. So the Bhakavasis, they were very fortunate, and they can live without Krishna. I mean, Rajate also mentioned this in his Sustastakam, that a moment of separation is like, you know, millions of. And therefore, it is important. If we are feeling comfortable in our lives, in the absence of Krishna, it means that we have a big problem. Because the advanced devotees, they don't feel comfortable when they don't associate with Krishna. And Kali Yoga is so beautiful that the way we can associate with Krishna is to chant his holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Anyone who feels comfortable not chanting is an problem. And anyone who is in anxiety because they have not chanted is a pure devotee at heart. Because the chanting is not different from the association that the Draka verses we're having with Lord Krishna. Because Krishna is not different from his name. His form is not different from his holiness. And therefore, what Prabhupada has given to us is completely unimaginable. It's amazing that we have this higher understanding of life, higher understanding of this of transcendence, and we can live our normal lives and at the same time integrate this high spiritual philosophy and implement it in our lives. Now, to understand the philosophy is one thing, to understand the concepts and constructs of the philosophy is one thing, but to implement those concepts and constructs is what brings about transformation. And therefore, if we want to associate with Krishna, we will never experience ignorance. We don't experience darkness. But if we don't want Krishna, there's no other option. Just two things: Krishna, Maya. Okay. If we refuse to associate with Krishna, we refuse to associate with His holy name, we are looking for trouble. So we have to decide what we want. And we already know what we want. Krishna, right? We don't want Krishna, raise up your hand. Yeah, we already know what we want. It's just that we have to have the impetus to fork ahead, despite all of that. The mind is going to give us trouble. The senses are going to give us trouble because they are imperfect. Then we have to engage the mind and the senses in the service of Krishna. We should endeavor to serve Krishna every day. At the end of the day, we should ask ourselves, what service did I do for Krishna? Because that is the way to purify the mind and the sense. And the highest service is to chant Krishna's name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. So this is a very nice verse for Lotus Eye Lord, wherever you go away to Mathura Vrindavan or the Hastinapur, to meet your friends. Krishna also has friends. The Suridam Sarva Bhutana. We should ask ourselves, who is my friend? The devotee must ask himself or herself, who is my friend? Because Krishna also has friends. So, every moment of your absence seems like millions of years. A moment of Krishna's absence to cause so much of devastation, so much anxiety in us. If we don't chant Krishna's name, we should feel so uncomfortable. And therefore, every morning we have to try to get up early to chant Krishna's name. And if you do this in the morning before you go out for your duties, you'll be happy all through the day. You're happy all through the day. Sometimes, people will ask you, did you take some intoxication? Why are you so happy? Yeah, it's Krishna. So yeah, this is the panacea. This is the medicine for transforming our lives and helping to transform the society. When people see us in a jolly, happy mood, just by the challenges in the material world, challenges in the studies. Studying, sometimes people think, oh, it's nothing. Study is very difficult. To study is very challenging. It's like, if someone says studying is very difficult, it's difficult. They've not studied. But yeah, they've not studied. I remember when I was small, so uh, in my community, there is one man who was a pastor or something like the prophet in one spiritual church. And he always liked to complain about his kids, his children. They were in high school, in boarding school. And so he was telling me that because he was like my mentor. So he was telling me, why is this boy, why are they always sick? They always complaining they're sick. Each time they come home, they complain they're sick, they're sick. I go to the farm. I don't feel so sick, but they're not doing anything. I said, hey, uncle, you feel that they're not doing anything. They're studying, they're using their brain. They don't even sleep. They're like security guards. They don't sleep at night. You come from the farm and you go to sleep, you rest very peacefully. They don't have peace. That alone should cause them trouble. Alone should bring about ill health. So when I spoke to him like that, he said, I see. Otherwise, the tendency is for the people who have not experienced high profile education to think that, they're just enjoying. Because also when you're in school, you have so many distractions and you have to be determined. Otherwise, you just blame Krishna. Krishna has given you the free will. and the school, university, I know everywhere. The life is so free. If you want to simply enjoy, you want to drink, you want to humanize, you want to just play around, go to parties, opportunities are there. So free. The senses are so loose, uncontrolled senses. Adanda gopi vishatan kanisha. Our problems, major problems in this world are caused by the uncontrolled senses. So, the sense, why are the senses uncontrolled? They are impure. Your senses are controlled. That is the reason why. That's one good reason why we should engage in senses, serving the master of the senses. Rishikena, Rishikesha, and that constitutes bhakti, bhakti uchiti. That's the definition of bhakti. Engaging the senses in the service of the master of the senses. So we have to see how we are taking advantage of that and implementing the principles, the guidelines given by Prabhupada, sadhana, bhakti, so that we can create a Bible spiritual future in us, so that we can appreciate, so that we don't feel comfortable when we don't associate with Krishna. So any comments, questions? Okay, in the absence of any, okay, you have a question? Okay, yes, follow. Like Maharaj, like Swami, people and someone. Yes, yes, that that moment, very lovely. But it okay. That's why I mentioned that we should do our sadhana in the morning before we go out. If we do a sadhana in the morning before we go out, it's like the soldier who's going to the war front and is well equipped. He has ammunitions, he has bulletproof. Huh? What? Alma. What does that mean? Okay, yeah. So, but if the soldiers wants to go to the war front and he just puts on a swimming pants, and it tells his wife, darling, I'm going to the war front, see you tomorrow. And you will not live to see tomorrow. No, a university college campus is like uh, a war zone. People see, I'm in the system. I've been in the system for decades. So I know what you guys are passing through, okay? I know what you're passing through. So to be able to protect yourself from those distractions, regulate your life. Some students, I mean, this was also the case with practically everybody who went through a university program, not even a university program, even high school. People don't have a sense of proper regulation. I'll give you an example. You read till 2 o'clock, okay? Then you sleep, and your body is so weak that you cannot do anything. You cannot wake up until 10 o'clock. How many hours? Okay. Now, Go to bed at 9:30 and you wake up at 3 o'clock, you feel very strong. Why? Science have brought to the beer that the best hours for body rejuvenation is between 10 and 12. So if you rest early, you can make a big difference in your accomplishment. Again, science also brought to beer that the best periods for innovative adventures is early in the morning during the Brahma Muhurta hours. So see, this is a day already in the Vedic literature, but it's only now that science is just confirming. Yeah, so the period for high productivity is early in the morning. So we'll go to bed on time. We can wake up early, especially your system here is very nice. You start a program at about 6 o'clock. So if you go to bed early and wake up maybe 3:30 or 3 o'clock, you can finish your rounds. You can even do some reading of your own coursework before Mangarati. You're young guys, so you don't need to sleep 8 hours. If you regulate your time properly. If you go to bed on time, you don't need to sleep. Try it. If you go to bed on time, you have succeeded in conquering the day. You conquer the day. So when you do your sadhana in the morning before you go out, you become protected from all of these distractions. If you don't do the sadhana, any little thing could just get you distracted. And then you'll be in anxiety because you're thinking, oh, wow, where am I going to go back so that I can chant? But if you are able to do your sadhana before you go out, you're just blissful all through. You read and there's a better concentration. The professor comes to give, make some presentation or teach some course, and you are attentive. But if you stay up till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock before you go to sleep, you will not be very functional and useful to yourself in terms of your studies and academic proficiency. So the most important thing for us is to see how we are taking advantage and using the 24 hours effectively and efficiently for a better tomorrow. Distractions are there, but if we engage these senses in hearing and chanting Krishna's names in the morning before we go, there will be a big difference in terms of the distraction, how we respond to it. Does it make some sense? Elbow, does it make some sense? What's the other doubt? Tell me, Bono. Huh? No, no. If you just do your chanting, it's fine. If you don't have the time, if you're not able to wake up early, it's okay. But what I was saying is that if you regulate your life properly, if you go to bed say at 9 o'clock or 9:30, and you sleep for even 5 hours, including between 10 and 12, you have sufficient energy to be able to do your 16 rounds before 6 o'clock. And you could even have some time to do some reading before you go out. But once you finish with your sadhana, the whole day is there for your studies. And you use maybe how many hours you use for lectures. And then the whole day is there for your private studies. If you don't waste your time talking on the phone for hours with people, if you don't waste your time surfing the internet for hours. One of the major things that is distracting modern uh, modern civilization, distracting us in the 21st century, is the digital system. I know so many people who get into trouble with the digital system. I know so many people who fail out from their university because of internet. But yeah, so I have two phones, my American phone and local Indian phone. But I don't really check my phones until I finish my first 16 rounds. So if you send me a message early in the morning, I'm sorry, I will not see it. Early in the morning is meant for Krishna. Yeah. Any other comments? Any other comments or questions? All right, in the absence of any other comments, yes. It's what? I don't understand. So, what you have to do? You have to have time to study. Study so that you get A. Not that you study to pass. Study so that you get A. I remember, see, I was speaking with one family in Mauritius. The when I visited Mauritius, they hosted me. So their youngest daughter is in the university. She's studying maths like you. She's graduating. She's you know, when I had a chat with her, she told me she's 2 days ago or so. She said she was doing was on the last lap of her project. And she's doing a project, a thesis on machine learning and something. So I said, wow, this is very good. Because machine learning is a big thing now, especially I know the case in America. So I said, so but then if you are graduating, what class you are hoping? You are what's your class target? She said, first class. I said, wow, mathematics is so difficult, and then you're getting first class. I said, so all right. She has an older sister. Older sister couldn't graduate from the university. She had some uh, courses that she was required, and she tried, and it wasn't working out. So she's getting married. And so when she told me this, I was very much excited because that home, her mom is the breadwinner. Father is not really like uh, a great guy, but the mom serves a big officer with the social security in the country. So in that home, even till today, nobody sleeps in my room. They made a room for me there, a big room, and nobody sleeping there. So I was considered like part of the family. So I was telling this girl that. So I just told her a story that see my personal assistant in New York. She's a white young lady. She just got married. She has a PhD in law. So I said, you have a big brain. So don't stop with your graduation. You should go for master's and go get a PhD. She was so much excited. She was so much excited. So she might not have anyone, but see, she has a big brain. First class is not a joke. first class is not a joke. So some people they need someone who just has to motivate. The parents didn't have that type of high profile academic skills to motivate them. That, because they helped me, they hosted me, I decided that this is the way I can help this family. Their child is very astute in academics, so she needs to be motivated. So the bottom line is that there are people out there who need help. But if we help ourselves, we can be in a position to help them. Everyone may not necessarily be, a Paramhamsa in this lifetime. But we should see, means like the Florida guy who went to help the alligator. When we help people, they become attached to us, and they may become devotees. We should not just be after ourselves. If some non-devotee is helping an alligator becomes attached to him, he doesn't want to go, to leave him alone and go back to it. I mean, it's so it's that was so instructive. Yeah, so devotees, instead we have to be compassionate, but first we have to have self-compassion. We have to be compassionate on ourselves to be able to create a viable future. And then we can see we will have the chance to see Krishna through devotional service and also see ourselves. So yeah, you have the only time you have. And we should not just based on 16 rounds. Anytime we have, we should chant. Anytime we have, we should read properly. I don't say, well, I read all the proper books. I don't have time to read my coursework. You have to do both. Any other comments? All right. Thank you very much for participating in this Krishna course. Srimad Bhagwatam ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you. Yeah. Again, so